You've tried everything. You cut calories, avoid sugar, and push yourself through workouts you secretly hate. You eat what looks like healthy food, yet your belly fat refuses to leave. It's frustrating and confusing, and it makes you question yourself. But here's what doctors are finally being honest about. This isn't a willpower problem, and it's not because you're lazy. You're fighting the wrong enemy. The most dangerous fat in your body isn't the soft layer you can pinch. It's a hidden type of fat buried deep inside your abdomen, wrapped around your organs, quietly disrupting your hormones and metabolism. Doctors call it visceral fat, and it's far more dangerous than most Americans realize. What makes it scary is that you don't have to look overweight to have it. There's even a medical term for this condition, TOFI, thin outside, fat inside. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Many doctors now warn that one of the biggest contributors to visceral fat in America isn't junk food alone. It's foods we've been taught to believe are healthy. Things like whole grain bread, crackers, granola, fruit juice, and low-fat snacks. These foods spike insulin, increase inflammation, and silently signal your body to store fat deep around your organs. That's why so many people ask, why am I doing everything right, but my belly won't go away? Visceral fat behaves very differently from regular fat. It doesn't just sit there. It actively releases inflammatory chemicals that increase your risk of diabetes, heart disease, fatty liver, and metabolic disorders. And traditional dieting often makes it worse. Starving yourself raises cortisol, the stress hormone that tells your body to hold on to visceral fat. Crunches don't help either, because this fat isn't superficial. It's metabolic. This is where Japanese medical research offers a powerful insight. Decades ago, Japanese scientists discovered that visceral fat behaves more like a parasite than stored energy. It thrives on oxidative stress, blood sugar spikes, and chronic inflammation. Remove those conditions, and visceral fat begins to shrink rapidly. This is one reason Japan remains one of the leanest populations in the developed world. They don't obsess over calories. They target biological triggers. The good news is, visceral fat is the most dangerous type of fat, but also the easiest to reduce once you flip the right switches. The first step is to starve it by lowering oxidative stress. Think of oxidative stress as internal rust. Many processed, healthy American foods are beige, refined, and inflammatory, and they feed this internal rust. Japanese studies focused on carotenoids, the pigments that give vegetables their bright red, orange, and deep green colors. These compounds don't just work as antioxidants, they influence gene activity. In controlled Japanese trials, increasing carotenoid intake led to significant reductions in visceral fat by turning on fat-burning genes and quieting fat storage genes. That's why the rule is simple. Stop eating beige foods and start eating the rainbow. Sweet potatoes, carrots, bell peppers, spinach, and leafy greens act like a natural shield against visceral fat. The second step is blocking fat absorption using what researchers call the liquid key. You've heard green tea burns fat, but the reason matters. Green tea contains catechins, especially EGCG. These compounds deliver a 1-2 punch. First, they increase fat burning by stimulating your nervous system. Second, they inhibit lipase, the enzyme that absorbs dietary fat in your gut. Think of it as putting a bouncer at the door, limiting how much fat gets stored internally. Japanese clinical studies showed that people who consumed catechin-rich green tea daily experience reductions in visceral fat and waist size. But bottled green tea doesn't work. Sugar cancels the effect. You need matcha or sencha, where you consume the whole leaf. Replacing one daily coffee or sugary drink with real green tea creates a direct metabolic advantage. The third step is movement, but only when done correctly. Diet influences overall weight, but exercise is the most powerful weapon against visceral fat. Japanese research found that moderate to high-intensity cardio performed consistently reduced visceral fat, even when body weight stayed the same. This is why the scale can be misleading. The key is intensity, not exhaustion. You don't need fancy devices. Use the talk test. You should be able to speak in full sentences, but sound slightly out of breath. You can talk, but you wouldn't want to hold a long conversation. That's the fat burning zone. Whether you walk uphill, cycle, jog, or row, doesn't matter. Consistency does. Finally, don't fall into the starvation trap. Visceral fat responds better to movement than extreme calorie restriction. The more consistently you move, the more visceral fat you lose. The simple plan is this. Add one colorful vegetable to every meal, replace one daily drink with matcha or sencha, and commit to 3 or 4 45-minute cardio sessions per week using the talk test. Visceral fat is dangerous, but your body is resilient. Give it the right signals, and it responds faster than you think. If this video helped you understand what's really been holding you back, like, subscribe, and share it with someone fighting the same invisible battle.